guys, it's me again, and we're up and live for 1 day and like 12 hours or something like that, and it's absolutely crazy. So I'm glad to see so many people up with us and like following the stream. So we have a new guest. Maybe like it's not like maybe like you absolutely most certainly know Destaney from Better AMS, and there she is. Give me just a second. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Okay. I'm okay. Like I'm not just like going to answer like politely. Oh, okay, I'm good. Like I'm okay. I'm just kidding. Like it's good. I didn't sleep a lot, but it's okay. How are you?
I'm much better, I think. Like I don't know how you're doing it. I there's no way. I would be out.
No, I slept. I slept for 4 hours, like during
4 hours?
yeah. That's it for now. Like I'm probably not going to work on Friday, but yeah.
Man.
Thank you so much for being with us like on such a short notice.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. We have like I don't know if you know of Augustus. He's one of the biggest organizers of Amazon events in Europe. And like he joined us like a couple of hours ago, and like we had the screen like this, and like he's such a funny guy, and he said like, oh wow, you even paid like actors to work in the office, and I'm like, yeah. So so for like, would you like to introduce yourself for like those two persons that don't know you?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Destaney Wishon. I am co-founder and CEO of Better AMS. I have been doing Amazon advertising for like 4 years now, I believe. I actually got started on the vendor side. So unlike most people who got started on the private label side and kind of scale their way up with that, I got started on the vendor side because I'm based out of Bentonville, Arkansas, so home of Walmart. So like every single vendor is kind of my back door. So I got started there, kind of merged to the AMS focus, and then the platforms converged. So now I do everything Amazon advertising.
So like first question, like Better AMS, and AMS is like part of like so many different platforms now. Like you are still focused on new platforms and like you're keeping up to date. Just for the guys that are thinking like AMS doesn't exist anymore, and so blah blah blah.
Yep. So we still have a lot of specialization on what people consider the AMS side. So the platforms obviously converged. It went to like advertising console, and then Seller Central merged with advertising console. But within the three, you still have the same ad types. So sponsor products, sponsor brands, sponsor display. And we manage all of them. We keep up with everything new and shiny. You have sponsored display remarketing, you have sponsor brands, custom image beta, and store spotlight, and product targeting, and all of these new cool things. So we keep up with that. And then on the sponsor product side, we keep up with everything new and shiny there as well. And then we also have DSP, but we couldn't really change our name after 2 years. So when Amazon made the change, I was like, I think we got asked like from a rep or something what AMS stood for. And we were like, oh, just advertising marketplace services. Or so we're trying to figure something out. If you have any cool tips or tricks for creating a name, throw it.
Figure something else, like, Yana, my fiance, she has like wildly translations. Like, when she started working, like wildly translation at that point was like a service that was for translating literally everything, and it was like Yana Linguist Team or something like that, and like it was like literally 5 years ago. And like when she started working super hard on Amazon, she changed it to Your Listing Translations, obviously. So you need to have something for AMS as well, like option number 2.
Yes. I love it. It's like the exact same scenario.
Yeah, literally. And you know what's the funny part? Like when I met her, she told me like I have YLT translation, and I Googled it, and it's like some Bible translations. And I was like, using Bible translations? And she's like, no, I didn't do my research. And I'm like, okay, good to know. So yeah,
Those things are hard to change once you've committed for a solid 12 months.
I know, and I just realized that I still have her name instead of mine. Give me just a second to change it for a second. Yeah, because like we have a physical office here in Belgrade, Serbia, like 2 offices, and they're like one next to each other, and like one group of team members like finished their shift, and the idea was to go home, but we have like a table tennis and Xbox, so they decided to stay and like organize a tournament. And I was like, guys, I'm literally going to be killed here because like it's going to be like the time exploiting you. And they're like, no. like official stuff is like on the stream, but like you can check my Instagram, like everybody's doing like really stupid stuff there. So that's the thing. Like when we talked like a couple of days ago about like the topic that you would like to talk about, I know that you're a rock star. Like there is no topic that you cannot cover, and there is nothing that I can ask you that is going to be like something that is going to be tricky for you to answer and so on. So we decided to talk about something that is definitely like super important at this point. Like we're in the like last 12 hours of Prime Day when it comes to LA and LA time. So basically we're going to talk about how to expand like that halo effect after Prime Day, how to make like people talked about today, like George Maressa mentioned today, like it would be really good to expand it, but he didn't mention how. So we have it here for that.
Amazing. There's about 98 different things we could dive into with this topic alone.
Literally.
I will start with kind of discussing what we did for Prime Day and then what we plan on doing to build off of that. So honestly, I'll say Prime Day was pretty up in the air for us. We really weren't sure how anything was going to perform just due to where the states are, with COVID and where everyone's budgets, inventory, shipping, and then do people really want to buy this early for Christmas? We didn't know. Like, are people going to be saving their budgets and waiting for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, things like that? But all in all, I lightly pulled the numbers, attribution aside, we're up 500% in sales on average for all of our ads across accounts, which is pretty cool. ACOS is down, I believe, like 7 to 8%. And the main reason being is we're watching our budgets and we're not adjusting bids like crazy. Because what's going to happen is you're just going to have more people on the platform and they're going to be more in a purchase intent mindset. So what you can do is you can analyze your performance from Prime and basically make assumptions of how you're going to perform throughout Q4. Now, if you have an item that's not giftable or maybe is not a New Year, New You style gift, there's not going to be a ton that you can do other than making sure you have a fantastic foundation for your ads. So what we're really looking at is what ad types are performing best over this time frame. Maybe our sponsored display typically does extremely well. So analyze those numbers, look at your ad types kind of individually as silos and figure out what does best, and then do more of that throughout Q4 to prepare for everything. So a few things. Sponsored display does incredible during Q4 because everyone's window shopping. So take a list. Let's say I'm selling, a purple pin. Type in purple pin, scrape all of the ASINs on page 1 that are organically ranking for purple pin, and run sponsored product targeting, sponsored brand product targeting, sponsored display product targeting. That is going to be a fantastic way to win new market share during Q4 because we do see an increase in impressions with people shopping around. They're looking for the best price, looking for different variations, looking for giftable items. So anything product targeting is one of the best things you can do during the holidays. Other things you can dip your toes into is sponsored display remarketing. So all the traffic that viewed your products during Prime, continue to run those remarketing campaigns throughout Q4 to get people to purchase. This does good for high price items or replenishables. If you're doing anything with DSP remarketing is going to do incredible throughout Q4 because you have the opportunity to, target every single person who viewed your competitors' ASINs or every single person who viewed but did not purchase your listings. Those are some of the biggest things you can do is start playing around with all the new display and DSP ad types we have. That was a lot of words.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like when I was first introduced like DSP and like what are the options that you can do, and one of the biggest options that like and you mentioned it is like targeting visitors of like different tastes, and I'm like, this is a really good one. Like this alone can sell like the product, like DSP as a product. So it's a
Uh-huh.
really huge thing, because like when you go to Seller Central or now like advertising platform, like you don't really see an audit that you can choose. Like well, basically you can know your audit if you go to brand analytics and like deep dive there and like see like who are the people that are buying your product, like obviously not by name, but like you know like how they look like how to address them and so on. It's like really good for different platforms if you're doing like Facebook ads or like are you doing attribution? I didn't ask you that.
Yeah, we have played around a decent amount with just their attribution, and then they've been rolling out new like betas and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been playing around, and with DSP, it becomes even more important to really start looking at those aspects. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, dipped our toes in. Data's still a bit iffy where we're not 100% sure how clean their attribution model is, but that's with everything Amazon.
Yeah, to be honest, at some point we started super hard pushing with attribution
Uh-huh.
because I really believed in it. Like they introduced it in that way, and I was like, okay, let's test it and let's see what's going to happen. And like when we did those tests, like it wasn't that good, And like people are used to like sellers on Amazon are used to last click conversions, and
Mhm.
uh, when you need to start like explaining that there are like search funnels and like buying intentions and buying funnels, like why are you doing it? Like it's important, but like what's my return on ad spend there? And I'm like, it's not big because it's part of the funnel, it's not the last click.
Uh-huh.
And like it didn't work out, so we're still doing it but at lower scale, and like we try to explain a lot what's the point of attribution. So and in that way it works pretty well, but like if you expect that you're going to get like return on ad spend at the same level as on DSP, that's not going to happen. Like there is a huge chance that it's not going to happen like that.
Yep, I think you kind of articulate it perfectly with mentioning the consumer funnel. It's like the easiest way to visualize what we're doing. The way I kind of mentioned is like DSP to me is much more marketing and shopper marketing versus everything we're doing through advertising console is just advertising, and it's purchase intent. We know if someone types in purple pin, they're looking for a purple pin. But when we're getting into DSP, we're kind of having the mindset of, oh, this person's searching for college supplies. They're in market for a purple pin. We need to make them aware of our product, figuring out what kind of analysis we're doing on maybe they're buying paper products, maybe they're buying dorm room supplies, and then showing them our brand and bringing them down that consumer funnel. So that way, when they see that purple pin ad on sponsored products, they purchase. And they purchase because they've been shot with our ads in 98 different places and they're aware of our brand. So it's definitely much, higher consumer funnel and trying to get them down into the purchase intent, which of course is going to have an incredible ROAS.
Yeah, of course, definitely. And like that's the same thing with sponsor brand ads, like headline search ads, like previously known. Like when like nowadays they're not working as good as they used to, like for a lot of sellers, and that's just because they're part of the search funnel. And but like when you turn them off, your organic sales are dropping. Your other ads are not working that good. And like a lot of people are like, why is it happening? Because like people get to know with your brand just because you had those ads, and they're like
Yep.
super important. Yeah. So
Something else.
mhm.
Oh, I was going to say
Go.
one other thing I would add with that is sponsor brands have less ad inventory. If you're on page one of the search results, sponsor brands show up in like 3 placements, top of search, and 2 to 3 placements on the bottom of search. Sponsor products ads have like 14 different placements on page one. So when you kind of understand that everything we're doing is an advertising auction, the more people you have bidding on less ad inventory, the more expensive it's going to be. And just because they named it sponsored brands, I feel like the majority of the vendors and larger CPG companies I talk to are like, we need to run sponsored brand ads. It's about brand awareness. So it's just much more competitive because you have people bidding on fewer placements.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Are you using like negative ASIN targeting now? Do you want to cover that part as well, or like?
We will play around with negative ASIN targeting just because for auto campaigns, you don't have control over the placements. And sometimes Amazon doesn't do a fantastic job if you're not indexed well. We don't do a lot with negative keyword targeting because that's what your bid optimization's for. But negative ASIN targeting was huge because a lot of people, were trying to like put in key pieces of the title to get it negated, or they're going through and looking for key attributes. But I think there's a lot of opportunity to cut bleeding spend if you truly look at what you're doing and then take anything that did convert and put it into a manual campaign so you have direct control over it there. Auto campaigns, we don't have a ton of control.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Oh, I'm just like asking random questions like that are like we're both part of the same groups and like we're discussing more or less the same questions all the time, and like I'm just sharing like in a manner like what clients ask me, and I'm pretty sure that they're interested to see like the other like someone else's opinion about them. Like at one point, those nickel campaigns were really big for some of our clients, and like, what's your opinion about them? Like do you create them, or like there's no need for them? Like for those that don't know, nickel campaigns are automatic campaigns with like really low bid, like something like 2 cents or like 10 cents, and they're left like that, and they're like making really good acres there, like couple of sales for a lifetime. And like do you want to hear my idea of them like first before I hear your answer? Like
I
do. They're like really good for like Facebook posts. Like because when you move like from like a week or a month, you move to like lifetime, you can see like $3 spent and like 200 in sales, and with some insane acres or like 0.5, and like a screenshot that is just like that small portion. Like show me the date range.
1% ACOS on this new campaign I created. Like, shoot me a DM if you want me to manage your ads. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. That's it. So, yeah. Tell me more about like what was the idea of optimization for the rest of the year for you to make more sales and like optimize spend and like not overspend and so on.
So the biggest thing we're looking at doing, and this has been a whole project for some of our bigger brands, is just making sure we have the appropriate coverage per ASIN. So I pulled the data the other day, and we have a brand that has like, I think 200 to 300 ASINs. And right now we're averaging like 7 campaigns per ASIN. So that's kind of just like the minimum foundation. We really need to start building on that. But I think that's where people don't do a fantastic job of setting up their Amazon advertising. They throw in like 1,000 keywords in a campaign, and then they can't scale it because their ACOS is skewed across all these keywords. But in reality, like there's all these different strategies that can be ran. There's no minimum for anything Amazon ads, at least in Seller Central or Advertising Console. So test all these new strategies with low bids, low budgets, figure out what's working and scale. Like you have 4 different auto campaigns that can be run with close match, complements, substitutes, and loose. We separate all those out into their own campaigns. That way we can better appropriately analyze data.
That's a really good tip.
And that's one of the things we do also as a side note for those who aren't aware. 2 of the targeting types influence product detail page placements, and then 2 of the ad types influence search terms. So when you pull your search term report, you sometimes see ASINs, sometimes you see search terms. Those are from your auto campaigns. I think it's close match and loose match as search terms, and complements and substitutes is ASINs, I believe, off the top of my head. But that's why we separate those out so we can analyze how well we convert on ASINs and product detail pages versus how well we're converting within the search results. And then you have sponsored product targeting ads, and then you have sponsored product keyword targeting ads. And we all know there could be at least 20 different campaigns for all the keyword research we do. And then you have sponsored display product targeting, sponsored display category targeting, sponsored brand product targeting, category targeting, keyword research. Like there's like probably a solid 30 different campaigns you can run for any one ASIN. So test all those, figure out what's working, and then scale.
Yeah, and imagine like as you mentioned, having like 200 ASINs and creating all the campaigns for those ASINs. Like it's a really big job to create those campaigns. And apart from that, like even like if you decide to go into that journey and like create all of them, like it's really difficult to manage all of them. Like that's insane amount of campaigns, and they're like all of them are like having like completely different purpose for each ASIN. So
Hmm.
it's completely crazy. And I'm pretty sure like when you're doing product launches and all of that, like you're creating separate type of campaigns and like push campaigns or like campaigns for ranking and so on. And that's kind of challenging thing to do, like at the higher scale.
That's actually a fantastic call out. I think one of the best things you can do in analyzing your Amazon ad performance is know what campaigns are for what purpose. A lot of people are just like, I want a 5% ACOS. And I'm like, well, that's not realistic. That's not a great long term goal. Profitability and making money is amazing, but I feel like the real long term goal is brand awareness and driving scale. So there's different things you can do. Like, hey, if I'm bidding on this keyword, I'm willing to bid much more because it's going to get me great rank. And then if my organic sales goes up, my tacos is going to be better. So yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, like what you mentioned, like what's the strategy for a seller? Like a lot of sellers are trying to get something instantly and super fast, like some fast results, but like that's not the way how to build a brand. Like you need to invest, you need to like spread to different stuff, and it's always challenging. But like I believe in that, like good is going to win, but it's going to be a long way to get there. And like comparing to all the black hat guys and like that they're doing some
Yep.
shady stuff and so on. But like eventually, like when you set everything up and like build everything in the right direction, like as you mentioned, like ACOS, that's a really small part of your sales. Basically, it's not that important metric. Like for us in Salaries Alley, spend as a percentage of overall revenue, which is tacos or blended ACOS. We had wins from Helium 10 before you, and he talked about having tacos, and they Helium 10 they have like Taco Tuesday just because of tacos.
It was amazing. They sent me tacos before we
Really?
spoke at the last event. Yes, it was like one of the best events I've been a part of, primarily because of the actual tacos, but I also love talking tacos as well.
It was so fun. Like I think like I was 1 week before or after you. I'm not really sure, and I was in LA, and we even went to like taco place, and we got so much food. It was like
That's even better. Tacos in person.
yeah, and like I like I don't know in which state you're in. Like
Arkansas.
okay. So like when I went to LA, I was like struck with like seeing people like completely different with completely different approach, like comparing to like we're in Belgrade, Serbia, and
Hmm.
we're pretty much open to like everything. Like restaurants are open, shops are open, everything is working. Bars are not working during the night, like after midnight or I don't know 11 p.m. Nothing is working, which is like super bad because like I'm used to buying like sweets or water or stuff like that like in the middle of the night, but it's not working now. And like we have like some really severe like checks when you get into country or you want to leave the country,
Uh-huh.
but inside of the country you're free to do whatever you wish, more or less. Like at workspace you need to like wear a mask or like to keep like distance and like
Uh-huh.
6 feet and that kind of stuff. But in LA I literally like landed with plane and like walked through the airport. Nobody asked anything. I was like, bye guys, and they're like, bye. So I went outside and like nobody asked for the test. I nothing. And like on the
Yeah.
street everybody had masks. Everything was closed, and it's like it was so crazy. Like I at this point I have no idea why I started this stuff. Oh yeah, I know, because like I went to Helium 10 and we had all of the taco stuff and so on, and it
Uh-huh.
was absolutely crazy. And I felt like that they were missing the social part with like talking with people and everything. So yeah, tacos super important thing, not just like the food, but also as a metric.
Both.
Yeah.
I can't even wait which one's more important in my mind.
Yeah, like when it comes to like some situations in your account, I'm pretty sure that you're absolutely fine to have really high ACOs, like really high, like 50% or so. Like when
Hmm.
you're doing product launches, like I always try to explain in like pretty basic way why we do that kind of stuff. Like imagine that you have like a local store, like you're in like small town and you have a local store and like you're giving TVs for free. And like, if you're not doing any marketing, you're not going to give them away, even though you're giving them for free. Like, there's no
Yep.
point in it. Like, you need to invest further. And like, and if you decide to build a store, like physical store, it takes some time to get some traction. Like, obviously, in the first 3 or 6 months, you're probably not going to make a lot of money there. And that's more or less the same thing that you should consider when you're launching the product. And like, if you see that you're making money after like month 2 or 3, like that's a really big thing, because you're profitable probably faster than other guys
Hmm.
that they're selling. So that's something. Like, I understand that people are like really into making money right away, like as I said, like fast, but like you need to think like in the long run what's going to happen.
Yep. I think that's the core philosophy for anything anyone's doing with their brand on Amazon is change your thinking to long term versus short term. Like at the core, for a lot of us that have been in the game for a long time, you remember the days when you could just like discount your product to like 90% and give away 100 units.
Like done.
And it's like, boom, top of page one. And then it was like, what can we do to manipulate reviews? Like, what kind of things? Let's start a Facebook group. Let's do this. Let's do this. And now we've finally seen the shift where now we're in like more mini chat and some of the other things. And a lot of those strategies are just more gray hat. They're not as black hat as what it used to be because Amazon really cracked down. So now we're getting into strategies that actually incorporate building a brand, creating an amazing email list, doing a discount that way. That's much more brand building and white hat than anything. So it's like shifting the mentality of what can I do that's going to be long term? Well, we know Amazon advertising is not going anywhere. Amazon's making a ton of money on it. We know it influences rank. So start in the beginning, investing in the small things like break even on keywords and stuff like that may not increase your rank within 48 hours like a giveaway, but it will increase your rank over time once you start converting well in your top keywords.
Yeah, definitely. You want to hear like launch strategy that I saw once like 2 or 3 years ago that is absolutely crazy. It worked insanely good at that time. It's not going to work at all now. But like I was so like amazed with the idea. Like you need to sit and like think about this before like uh guys are selling like some stuff I don't want to mention, but like regular price is like 40 or 50 bucks, and like they sent like 100 units to Amazon and made like regular price to be like $5 instead of 50. So, and they gave like discount of like 10%, because it would be okay to leave like verified review because it's just 10%, and
Uh-huh.
it's like $4.5 or something like that. I don't know. So they sold like 95 of them, and they closed the listing until like they get the reviews and everything, and they would add like new batch of products and like change the price to 50 bucks. And I was like, really? like, like who would even think about that? That's a
That's
really like,
insane.
yeah. And at that time, it worked crazy. Like,
Man,
and
I remember those days.
Amazon is always having a lot of glitches and like stuff that are not working. Like one of the like, we're heavily against black hat or gray hat or anything like that, but we always try to test stuff just to see like what we're fighting against. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things that we tried recently, like to see like how can you create like headline search ad, sponsor brand ad with only one product. Like we added like competing products like from our competitors. You
Uh-huh.
could create campaign, and like we deleted ASINs from our competitor and left only our product, and it worked. And like,
Have
oh, like
you
I didn't click save. I didn't click launch because I felt like we're going to be in trouble at some point because of this. Like, because
Yep.
like whenever you try to manipulate anything, like
They find out.
yeah, at some point you're going to be screwed. like at the beginning, you're probably going to make a lot of sales or stuff, and after that, you're going to be suspended. So, like, what's the better for you?
As a
Oh,
quick workaround, what we've also been recommending is just create a store page for that one product and drive it to a store page instead of a landing page, and it'll sometimes approve them. Well, most of the time it'll approve them.
oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, because store pages don't have to have the minimum because Amazon made that shift where you could technically have one live ASIN and your ad would continue to run. So if you drive it to a store page, they assume, I guess, that store pages are going to have more products when in reality they don't. So we're running this with a brand right now.
That's a really good one.
Also, I was cracking up at the thought, we were talking about like Amazon will find out. I saw a meme the other day. It was like only Amazon could like turn Prime Day into a day to sell like spy recording devices to every single one of their members. So that way they know what you're doing at every second of the day. And I was like, I have like 3 Alexas in my house. Like they know what's going on. So
Do you think
that's why I
that
could
we're going
never.
to have? Do you think that we're going to have like audio ads anytime soon?
I know that they're running like OTT right now with audio. And like, have you had your Alexa ask you to leave a review yet or a rating?
Oh, I didn't, but I heard that a lot of people are having like an option, like after purchasing stuff to ask for a
Hmm.
review, or if you're buying consumables to ask you do you want to refill or to buy another one.
Yep.
That's a really smart thing, you know.
The first time I was like, I don't like that. That's really creepy. But now I'm like, yes, reorder my stuff. Save me 38 seconds from having to click on it. So I'm all
Yeah,
about it.
so I can watch Netflix
I
because like
know.
we're quarantined and I'm staying at home all day.
Exactly. I'm at the point now where it's like if I can't even say her name because she'll go off. If she's listening to me, like it's for the better of myself. Like she's only gonna serve me ads I want to see at this point. Like if I talk about it, she serves me an ad, it's a win for me. I don't have to look it up.
Definitely, like everybody's talking in a manner like I don't feel that I should be tracked or like to have like a lot of cookies and stuff like that. And, like those talks. Like I was like near my phone. I was talking about dog food, and like after that I saw a bunch of ads about the dog food and everything. And I
Yes.
don't even have a dog and that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, like it really doesn't work like that. And like when it comes to searches and cookies and everything, like I want them to know everything, literally
Yes.
everything, because
I'm
I,
past the
don't-
point of caring.
I really don't want to have like spare parts for some car that I don't use. I don't want to have some stuff for cat because I have a dog and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like I want everything custom tailored for me. That would be really awesome.
Exactly. That's where I'm at as well. Like we're way past the point. Like if you have Facebook, you have an iPhone or anything like that, they've got all your data anyways. Like why not give them more?
Yeah, literally. Like they already have what they needed. Now I'm giving more to have what I really need. That's the whole point. Yeah, so we were talking for half an hour and we literally covered a lot of stuff that we didn't want to talk about. So if I look that time, I'm like going crazy or something. It's because like it's 1 day and 13 hours of me talking, like with 4 hours sleep time. So sorry about that if you don't feel comfortable or anything. Like the other day we were having an interview for an accountant, and the girl came to the office and she was like, "Oh, it's so comfortable. I feel really good about this." And I'm like, "You're not going to feel like that during the interview." And she froze. And I'm like, "I'm just kidding, you know."
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, depends who you ask. Like for me, it was like a really good joke. Like all of my stupid jokes are. I'm like
She
king of
wasn't too
stupid
sure about it.
jokes.
That's exactly how I am. I'm like the same way.
Yeah. So, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
I don't think so. I think we went through a lot of random strategies. Like
Yeah, I had a call with John yesterday, and he was like, "This is literally the biggest amount of random questions that they got like recently." I'm like, yeah, I was aiming that way because like whoever you listen, or like if you join any webinar or anything, like you're going to get like uh pretty straightforward like talk about certain topic. But like when you have like casual talk like this, people say more of like the small details that you should
It's
look
less
at. Like
scripted.
yeah, like you
Yeah.
mentioned like one really like insanely big thing, like how to create headline search ad with only one product. And like even if that's the only thing that people catch from our 30-minute talk, it's a huge difference for them because now they have like one more option to advertise with.
It's like
So
30% more ad space right there.
yeah, right away. Awesome, awesome. So well, I don't want to take any more of your time, and thanks again for being able to join us in such a short notice. And like, if somebody wants to reach out to you, what should they do?
Of course. Well, one, thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing. I love the casual atmosphere. Two, if anyone wants to find me, you can check me out on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I try to only post like extremely authentic, transparent, helpful content, like nothing salesy, no webinars with golden nuggets or anything to exponentially increase your sales. So just check me out on anything on social and ask me questions, and hopefully I can get them answered for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the Prime Day.
Awesome. Will do. Thank you.